Time Warner Cable is pleased to be an underwriting sponsor for Carolina Week.
Coming up on the August 29th edition of Carolina Week.
I'm Carla Babb. I'll show you how a shorter break in Congress affected our state.
Jen Carpenter shows us a modern marvel right here in the U.S. Coming up in sports, a look ahead at what could be another championship year for women's soccer. Jonathan O has your Carolina Week 4-day forecast.
All that and a race down memory lane. Carolina Week starts right now.
From the James F. Goodman Studio in the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, connecting campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
Hello and welcome to the August 29th edition of Carolina Week. I'm Sarah Huffman.
And I'm Adam Rue. We're glad you could join us for this first broadcast of the fall semester. Today marks the 2-year anniversary of the day when Hurricane Katrina devastated New Orleans. But as students get settled into the semester and get busy with classes and studying, it's easy to forget that not everyone is back to normal down south. Many towns are still in bad shape, and many families are still struggling to rebuild their homes and their lives. UNC junior and New Orleans native Beth Dykeman says even 2 years later, she feels the effects of the hurricane, and it's important to remember that.
Here you hardly hear about it at all, but when I go home, for example, for the summers, probably 50% of the news stories are about insurance or recovery efforts or something. It's constantly surrounding their minds.
In remembrance of the storm and all that was lost, Extended Disaster Relief is sponsoring a vigil tonight at 7:30 in the pit.
Earlier warnings about the drought won't make you start conserving water. Maybe the governor will. Instead of flushing our water supply down the drain, Governor Mike Easley is asking North Carolinians to cut back on their water usage by 20% because of statewide drought conditions. If conditions continue to worsen, tougher water restrictions could go into effect. Here are some quick tips for UNC students to make every drop count. Turn off faucets while brushing your teeth, shaving, and so on. Wash only full loads of laundry and dishes, and don't waste flushes.
There's a little more Carolina blue on the streets this fall after the buses here received a facelift. Chapel Hill residents and Carolina students are riding in style this year. As of last week, 19 new buses hit the road, boasting a brand new look. Among the new buses are these hybrid electric buses, which will reduce some gas guzzling. The town also added 3 60-foot buses, which can seat as many riders as 2 regular buses, but they're only for high-traffic stops.
Carolina switched its colors from blue to pink, at least for a day. Victoria's Secret turned UNC Pink Tuesday during its Campus 2007 tour. Students could get a peek at fall's latest merchandise from the pink clothing line, or pick up some limited edition sweatshirts. One lucky girl will also win a $500 gift bag full of apparel and accessories. Marketing intern Allison Badia says there's a lot to choose from.
But one thing that we do have new for this year is our new fleece fits. We have the skinny and the boyfriend because skinny jeans are in. And as for the boyfriends, they're very big and roomy and everybody loves them. It's like they picked up sweatpants from their boyfriend's floor.
Company officials will announce the gift bag winner later today.
Some changes on campus are providing more convenience and comfort to students. The new Student Academic Services buildings are now officially open. Students can go to one convenient location for many of the services they need, such as the University Registrar and student accounts. The Writing Center and other helpful academic resources are also in the new buildings. Just up the sidewalk, Morrison Residence Hall is open following renovations. Workers installed solar panels to heat the building's water supply. If you're going to Student Health to get your back-to-school checkup, be sure to leave your cigarettes at home. You're not supposed to light up anywhere on UNC Hospital's main campus. The hospitals have been tobacco-free since July to protect patients and their families from secondhand smoke. Dozens of signs are posted near roads and sidewalks reminding people of the new rules, but a lack of consistent enforcement means hospital grounds aren't truly tobacco-free just yet.
For the first time, students will be able to say they graduated from Carrboro High School. Carrboro High began classes Monday for 600 freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. Students are already taking part in after-school activities such as color guard, marching band, and athletics. The Jaguars don't expect to be very competitive in this sports season, but they say to watch out in the years to come.
North Carolina's members of Congress usually spend the month of August in their districts at events like the opening of Carborough High. But this year, lawmakers decided to stay in Washington a little longer. Reporter Carla Babb has more.
This year, lawmakers spent one extra week working on Capitol Hill. Congressman Bob Etheridge says the benefits are worth the time away from home.
You know, it gives you less time to meet with constituents, obviously, but it also means you have more time to work on the priorities in Washington, and I think that's important this year with the new Congress, with the new things we're taking on.
And so far, some of his constituents don't seem to mind the shortened recess. Brian Long organized the Ag First event for the North Carolina Department of Agriculture.
Commissioner, thank you very much, and I am delighted to be here.
He says contacting our representatives was no more difficult this year than in other years when recess was longer.
We always face the same challenge, regardless of how much time off they have. They're not really off, they're still working.
Of the 12 congressional offices I spoke to, only half released their schedules. Republicans Coble, Jones, and Myrick, and Democrats Price, Etheridge, and Watt. Overall, you'll see they attended about the same number of events this year, despite 5 fewer days in the district. But when you look along party lines, the Republicans actually increased their number of events by 11, while the Democrats did 14 fewer.
But other than the party differences, the biggest schedule change for some is vacation time.
I do appreciate the time that you've taken to be here.
Congressman Etheridge cut his in half, from 6 days in the past non-election year to just 3 this year. And after the House passed a new farm bill Etheridge co-sponsored during that extra week on the Hill, voters like Long say they appreciate the additional lawmaking.
That extra week of work seems to have paid off, and hopefully when they return to work in September, the Senate will take up the farm bill and move forward with it.
But not all North Carolinians are so optimistic. UNC political scientist Eric Engstrom says all the proposed legislation will eventually still face time from the voters.
They still have to finish the budget, which they're behind on, and the upcoming debate over funding of continuing funding of the troops in Iraq.
And Etheridge agrees.
The original target dates in recent years have been get out on October 15th. That's not going to happen this year. I think the earliest could be Thanksgiving. It could be later than that.
But he says he's happy to put in the extra time as long as Congress gets the job done for voters. In Chapel Hill, I'm Carla Babb, Carolina Week.
And with less time for members of Congress in the districts, it might not surprise you that a recent poll reveals well-informed voters are in the minority. 2/3 of Americans admit they're in the dark about international politics. Only 30% were well-versed in U.S. politics. This lack of knowledge could pose problems for presidential candidates trying to reach out to voters. We questioned 30 UNC students to see if their knowledge of politics was above the norm. The results were surprising. Only 20% of students say they're well-versed in national and international politics. But all of the students could name 3 presidential candidates, so at least they're paying attention to the upcoming election.
The Southeast isn't known for its Hindu population.
So you might be surprised to see what just opened in one of the region's largest cities. It's not the Taj Mahal, but it's close.
Downtown Chapel Hill restaurants offer over 15 different cuisines. From the far corners of the world to simple Southern delicacies, there are a variety of different dining experiences that will satisfy every appetite. No matter where you choose to go, you're sure to find a restaurant that is perfect for you. So, for your next night out, why go anywhere else but downtown Chapel Hill?
I was in a drunk driving accident down in Melbourne, Florida. Everything I do is a challenge at different levels. Anytime I can get out of my chair and do something, I have that sense of freedom. I think everybody on this earth, whether they know it or not, is ultimately trying to achieve that freedom.
Able Flight, flight training scholarships for people with disabilities.
A new Hindu temple is opening, the largest in the Southeast. More than 20,000 people are in Georgia for the occasion, and so is our Jennifer Carpenter. Jen?
Thanks, Adam. The structure behind me is 3 years in the making. It's a mandir, the Hindu place of gathering and worship.
Carolina Week has your exclusive look at the opening ceremonies.
It's still a very unique event. It doesn't happen all the time. It is a very big deal because this is still only the fourth around in the entire North America of a mandir such as this.
Well, a mandir is really a place, it's a spiritual place, it's a place for community.
This is a mandir that was built by the community and it's for the community.
So it's a vibrant center for many things that are related to who we are and what we want in life, basically. We learn, when we come to the mandir, we learn through the teachings of BAPS and our Guru Pramukh Swami Maharaj how to live together as a united family.
It's a Hindu faith. It's based on the Hindu scriptures. Bhagwan Swaminarayan was born on earth 200 years ago, and that started the Swaminarayan philosophy of bettering yourself and then bettering others through service and selfless service.
To me, this is my community, this is my home. Coming to mandir is sort of a lifeline for me because here I can find a place where I'm comfortable, a place where I can stay in touch with my Indian traditions, with my Indian roots. And so to me, to build this mandir is really sort of a dream come true, actually.
So the structure is made up of 3 different types of stone: Italian marble, Turkish limestone, and Indian pink sandstone. It was all carved in India and then was taken here to be constructed in 17 months. It's supposed to last 1,000 years.
Jen Carpenter reporting from Atlanta. Thanks, Jen.
25 lucky UNC journalism students will intern at next year's Summer Olympics in Beijing. The students will attend press conferences with Olympic medalists and then update international journalists with the latest news. The head of media operations for the Games thinks Carolina students will have a lot to offer.
And they will also bring us their talents, their skill of journalism and skill of language. So they will bring us a lot of things, yeah.
Chancellor James met with Chinese delegates of the Olympic Organizing Committee to exchange gifts and talk about their plans. UNC hopes to have details finalized and applications available by mid-September.
South Campus is bustling with the arrival of new UNC students. Last week marked the entrance of about 4,200 freshmen. With the first week of school behind them, the class of 2012 is beginning to blend into the crowd. The campus is starting to shrink for the wide-eyed newcomers as they find their niche with activities, classes, and new friends. After finding their place at UNC, the freshmen can start tackling the most tedious tasks of all, time management and that pesky laundry.
And if you're worried about the freshman 15, health experts say you should put down the juice and pick up the fruit. A new study indicates that people who drink their calories are more likely to gain weight than those who take in calories from solid food. Doctors used to think calories alone relieved hunger, but the director of the UNC obesity program, Barry Popkin, says our bodies haven't evolved enough to distinguish high-calorie liquids from water. So high-calorie drinks don't fill us up like solid foods do. Popkin says we might get as much as 50% of our calories from drinks. And sodas aren't the only thing you have to worry about. Adenovirus 36 gives you a sore throat, runny eyes, and a runny nose, and it might also cause you to gain weight. Research shows that the virus causes fat cell growth, so scientists are continuing to study the virus to learn more about its contribution to obesity. Experts say you might soon be able to use medication to keep the weight off. Until then, you might want to keep hitting the gym.
And Johnny O, this could be a great weekend to get outside and get a little exercise in.
Yeah, I heard it's supposed to be really pretty.
It should be. I mean, we have a slight chance of rain, but for so far, it's been a nice mix of sun and clouds. And these people had a hard time staying out of the sun at the volunteer fair. Will students have more hot weather ahead? I'll tell you when we come back.
What is a hero? Are heroes born, or are they made? In after-school programs, your kids will uncover hidden strengths, discover they have the power to change their future, and find the hero inside themselves. Let us know you on after-school programs in your area. Call 1-800-USA-LEARN. After-school programs, helping kids find the hero within.
Hey man, what's up?
Not a whole lot, man. Just waiting on the bus. How about you?
But you got your bike.
Yeah, so?
How you can do that?
Oh, you can put your bike on the bus. It's easy. I'll show you how.
Oh.
First, pull the rack down. Then, just lift your bike and place the tires in the rack. Finally, lift the lever and snap it into place to hold your bike securely. Chapel Hill Transit, working for you.
Rain, rain, go away and don't come back because we don't want you for Labor Day. Hope you're having a good day wherever you are. I'm Jonathan O. Let's take a look at your weather headlines. First of all, it's still warm and dry outside, and we're going to expect that for the next couple of days. But I have some good news because we're going to cool down. We're saying about upper 80s possibly by next week, and we might see a chance of some weekend rain. We need the rain badly. Why? Because we're still in a drought situation. I mean, we're supposed to see about 29 inches of rain right now. So far, only 24 inches. What does that mean? We have a deficit of about 5 inches. That's a lot of rain that we don't have, and that's a problem. And we don't have any tropical storms to give us that chance to rain either. So far for this year, we've only had 5 named storms. This time last year, the same thing. Now, 2 years ago when Katrina hit, we had 11 named storms, and that was the 11th was Katrina. And right now, we don't have any particular storms that are developing out in the Atlantic Ocean. We do have a little disturbance that will be moving its way to, possibly toward our area, but really, we don't have anything at the current moment that will give us any type of major relief for the next few days. But as we take a look at this, this is an IR satellite, so these are not rain. These indicate how tall these clouds are, so the darker the colors, the higher they are. So this is a cold front that's over the Midwest, and what's going to happen this weekend is for this cold front to swing on by. By Friday, it should be in the mountains of North Carolina. Over the weekend, it should pass on through, which means that we should be seeing cooler temperatures as we head toward the weekend. Not the greatest weekend to go to the mountains for Labor Day weekend, however, because we're seeing a chance to rain over the weekend. Temperatures, however, noticeably cooler in the 80s. The beach is where I recommend because we're going to expect sunny skies for the entire weekend, a slight chance of rain. Temperatures, again, mid-80s, lows would be around 70 degrees. Here's your forecast for tonight. Let's take a look. In the Triangle area, temperatures will be in the upper 60s and 70 degrees over at Stay. Tomorrow, expect a high in the mid-90s. And then here's your 4-day forecast. 2 things to note. First of all, we have that slight chance of rain on Saturday and Sunday, a chance of rain. And then we're going to also see a cool-off on Saturday and Sunday in the mid-80s. Lows will be in the upper 60s to lower 70s. So it's going to be cooler, which is good because the past few weeks, it's been extremely hot. Now, I live in an air-conditioned apartment, which is great. I'm really enjoying that. But I know there are a lot of students here in Carolina who don't live in air-conditioned apartments, and it's been hot, so it should be good relief for them.
Thank you, Johnny.
It is brutally hot outside, and for those 1,100 on-campus students without air conditioning, there's little reprieve indoors. Temperatures in these rooms can hover near 85 degrees during the day, making multiple fans a necessity. And although it might seem difficult to do homework in the dark, many residents choose to keep the lights, the overhead lights off rather, to help keep the rooms just a little bit cooler. Some students, such as Iris Robinson, have tried more than just drinking lots of water to beat the heat.
I've made my own air conditioner. Well, tried to make my own air conditioner by putting ice in a bucket of water and trying to hook it to the back of the fan, but it didn't really work.
Since Morrison's reopening, there are only 3 dorms that aren't fully air-conditioned: Ehringhaus, Craig, and Hinton James.
And we're joined now by sportscaster Sarah Moore.
And we're hoping that this weekend the weather will hold off at least for that football game because it looks like it's going to be a good one.
Well, hopefully the guys have been working hard and they're ready to go. Yeah. So, coming up in sports, Butch Davis begins his career as Carolina's head football coach. We'll show you how Davis and his players are getting ready to make their mark on the ACC.
A day in the life of Chapel Hill Greenways, brought to you by Chapel Hill Parks and Recreation. information, please call 919-968-2784 or pick up a map at any town facility.
Making a can from recycled aluminum instead of from raw materials reduces air pollution by 95%. Recycle. It's the everyday way to save the world. Recycling a glass bottle saves enough energy to run the TV you're watching for 1 full hour. Recycle. It's the everyday way to save the world.
Welcome to Carolina Week Sports. Forget this Butch Davis era. This is the Sarah Moore era. The 2007 Carolina football team suits up this Saturday against James Madison at Keenan. Mackenzie Hamrick has a preview of the beginning of the Butch Davis era.
As day rolls in tonight on Saturday, the Heels will take the field for the first game of the season. It will be the first college game for more than half of the players on the roster. Can these young guys stay put together in front of a sold-out crowd at Keenan?
Some guys, you hope, don't get stage fright. You hope that the youth and the inexperience of it, that they'll calm down. Hopefully some of the seniors will make that transition.
Having some of the 10 seniors on the team take a leadership position is crucial. For guys like senior defensive tackle Kentwan Balmer, being vocal is easy.
The football part is easy because we spend so much time together off the field. It makes it easier to communicate and get along on the field when things aren't going as well. So that role is easy. And plus I got guys like Holly Taylor and Kendrea's guy, the real map, that help me fill that role.
Guys like Taylor and Guy help complete a solid defensive front, along with newcomer Marvin Austin. It's up to these guys to anchor the rest of the defense. On the other side of the trenches, the offensive line is full of returning players. Senior center Scotty Linehan holds the middle, and he and his line mates have a simple goal.
First and foremost, usually in most games we're going to try to run the ball and establish the run, and then pass off of that, do play action, things like that.
The Heels have really picked up the pace this summer at camp, working hard and preparing for one of the most anticipated seasons. There are still a lot of questions about this team. Maybe some of them will be answered this Saturday. In Chapel Hill, I'm Mackenzie Hamrick, Carolina Week Sports.
The women's volleyball team is off to a good start after the first weekend of play. The Heels won the UB Classic. Now it's back to Carmichael Gym for another week of work. The Heels will have a chance to prove themselves on their 2-1 record Friday night. This weekend, the team will play in the Mortarboard Premier at Purdue. Coach Joe Segula says the Heels feel good headed into this weekend's tournament.
We'll use that as some confidence for the team going into this weekend, feeling that we are a solid program and that we are going to compete hard, and that this coming weekend we're going to have some tougher challenges though, but we have to play together as a team to be successful.
Last preseason, the UNC women's soccer team was ranked number 6 by Soccer Buzz magazine, leading people to worry that the Tar Heel dynasty was crumbling. But after their 18th national championship last year, the Tar Heels have the bullseye on their backs yet again. Despite being ranked number 1 by Soccer Buzz to start the season, the Skies aren't necessarily Carolina blue over Fetzer Field. Injuries to several starters, as well as the graduation of Libby Guess and Heather O'Reilly, have left Anson Durrance with what he calls masking tape chewing gum lineups. The first game is September 1st at noon against South Carolina. It's a big weekend for Tar Heel sports. In addition to the women's soccer and football games, the men's soccer team will host the Carolina Nike Classic. Our undefeated field hockey team takes on Wake Forest Friday and JMU Sunday. The cross-country team's first and only meet in Chapel Hill this season is Saturday morning. Well, it sounds like the women's soccer team has really been working hard, and I think there are a lot of girls who are willing to step up and.
Absolutely, and I'm hoping that we can see, if you go out to the field out there and you see all the years where they've won the national title, it's a lot of them, and I'd love to see this year be one of them.
Definitely.
Absolutely, Sarah, thanks.
Thank you, Sarah.
One sport that gets a lot of attention around here is race car driving.
In the past, you didn't have to go all the way to Charlotte for a race.
That's right. Coming up, next we'll take you to a place where history lives on despite Mother Nature.
Art can be many, many, many things. The North Carolina Museum of Art offers one of the premier art collections in the Southeast, and it's yours to discover. There's something for everyone. works by classic and contemporary artists, a 164-acre museum park, an outdoor concert series, performances, and so much more. Experience all that art can be at the North Carolina Museum of Art.
If you have a story idea, contact Carolina Week at 843-8292. You can also visit us online at carolinaweek.org. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNCCH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27599.
If you're not recycling, you're throwing it all away.
$50 invested in a mutual.
NASCAR has a pretty big fan base in North Carolina.
But did you know that some of NASCAR's greatest drivers got their start at a little track right down the road from UNC? Mark Alexic has the story.
It was hard to drive. It was real fast. Speeds at 120 miles an hour on a dirt track. It's pretty tough, but these guys learned being moonshiners. The police chasing them and stuff, so hey, they earned it.
Frank Craig recalls the heyday of Hillsboro's Occoneechee Speedway. He was a part of it as a child.
I started coming when I was 5 years old in 1957 with my father, which he worked here at the track, and he worked security along with the local sheriff here.
Frank knows many Speedway stories, but the best way to learn about the Speedway is to see for yourself.
All right, ready to go to the Occoneechee Speedway? Come on, let's go. On a given Sunday, 2 given Sundays every year, 20 to 25,000 people would come in here, even before the interstate highways were built.
Years have passed since highway construction. The Speedway's final race was 40 years ago. In that time, nature ran its course.
All right, we're coming up on the straightaway. This is the area where you cross over into the pits, and it's all growed up, but you're going to have to imagine all these trees are gone.
When you see the old photos of it, when it was just clear land, and there were cars everywhere, and then you come here and you see how quickly Mother Nature reclaims.
From car traffic to foot traffic, a lot happened to the Speedway once it closed.
With the trees growing up and everything just going back to nature, that's what preserved the track. Neglect preserved the track.
Bill Crowther manages the Speedway property.
The job description is leave this place better than the way you found it, and I guess I am.
It might not be the Indy 500, but 40 years ago, this moss and tree-covered grandstand was a racing hotspot, and spectators came to witness the beginnings of professional drivers, including North Carolina native Richard Petty.
He said, I remember when the races were over here, it probably took 2 weeks for the dust to settle in Hillsboro. And that's a quote from Richard Petty himself.
You won't find Petty at the track today, and you have to look above the tree line to find the track's lights, full of bullet holes. And the old ticket office is now a danger zone. Frank wishes he could change the track's image.
Well, I want to go in with a bulldozer, take them all out, and have a race. But the property owner really doesn't want to do that, so I guess I got to do what he says. But, you know, he don't know what I'm doing at night.
For now, Frank must relive the thrill of Victory Lane by walking down memory lane. In Hillsboro, I'm Mark Alexic, Carolina Week.
You know, I've never been to a NASCAR race.
Neither have I, and I grew up right down the road from the Speedway, so we might have to go.
Well, that does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night.